I'm going to be the first to admit that Beetlejuice is not really my thing. It's okay. I'm not super crazy about it. Because of that, this is going to be a pretty short review. Apologize in advance for any sort of sinusy sound or weird throat sound. I just came back from Dragon Con, and both Arturo and I ended up with con crud. I think I opened myself up to it the last night I was there. Our audiobook company, Soundbooth Theater, we had this event at Dragon Con, this cool party, 2.5 hours, hundreds of people there. I was on a bingo card, so people had to tell me, they had to come up and tell me their favorite movie. So I talked a lot that night, and I could feel my throat just starting to give way, and knew I was opening myself up to whatever germs wanted to just latch right onto me, and that's what happened. Fortunately, it's been very mild. Not a big deal at all. I'm already on the mend. It didn't last very long. So Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. The first one is okay. I'm not super crazy about it, as I indicated at the very beginning. I never really have been. So I went into this, honestly, I kind of feel like I probably shouldn't have really made it a priority to go see it on opening day, because I just don't feel like I have much emotional investment in this story. So I'll just kind of tell you my impression of it. I think if you enjoy the first movie, you will probably enjoy this one as well. Several people return: Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, and Danny Elfman also returns to work on the score for this. So it felt like a continuation of this world and the characters in this world. There are some notable absences. Obviously, Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin are not there because, they're ghosts and they would have noticeably aged. So it probably wouldn't have worked very well unless they wanted to do some serious de-aging, but whatever, it didn't matter. They came up with some sort of very quick excuse to explain why they weren't there. Also, Jeffrey Jones, the guy who played Winona Ryder's father, he was absent. Of course, I feel like I can probably guess why, but to still have his character in there, but not the actor, they came up with what I consider to be a pretty creative way to handle the fact that the actor's not there. You'll know it when you see it. Story-wise, Winona Ryder, it's 36 years later, she is making her living as, I guess, basically a medium because she can see ghosts, but she is still haunted by the events of the first movie. She's starting to see Beetlejuice in her everyday life here and there, and it's a little bit traumatizing for her. She has a daughter named Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega, who does a fine job, and they have a strained relationship. Jenna Ortega is a skeptic. She doesn't believe her mother has these abilities that she always says that she has. And Winona Ryder's husband or ex-husband or whatever, Jenna Ortega's father, he has passed away too. So that's caused a bit of contention between them because Jenna Ortega is aggravated that Winona can't see the ghost of Jenna's dad. So there's all these issues, going on. They play a little bit with, serious issues like family strife and grief and loss and things like that. But it's also quite slapsticky, just like the first one was. And that's probably one of the reasons why Beetlejuice just isn't really one of my favorite movies. I'm not the biggest fan of slapsticky humor and dumb comedy. Michael Keaton is fine in here reprising the role of Beetlejuice. He does great. Monica Bellucci is in here, though I have to say I felt like she was underutilized because she's kind of propped up as, okay, well, wow, these big things are going to happen with her, and just kind of felt like it just fizzled out and didn't really amount to anything. In addition to that, there was this storyline that they had built up around the character of Astrid and this guy that she liked. I found that kind of interesting. I mean, the hook of that isn't, or let's say the twist of that isn't really revealed until about an hour into the movie. So the movie is well over halfway done when this reveal happens. That kind of didn't surprise me completely because I had some questions about stuff that was going on. But it wasn't until that happened that I started to actually feel more engaged with the film and the characters. And I think it was just because this twist, here's this trouble, that's going to be happening, and how are they going to get out of that? So I guess it's just almost not fair of me to do a review for a film that I'm not crazy about the original source material. So this is, I guess, basically look at this as a review of someone who's just not really a fan. This is just how I felt about it. If you like the original, I think you will like this. If you're not super crazy about the original, this is more of the same, so you're probably going to feel quite similarly about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. There were some funny moments in here. There were definitely some times that I did laugh out loud, and that was mostly just because of the humorous acting, like Michael Keaton, some of the parts that he had, and Catherine O'Hara, something happened with her, and it was funny the way she played that particular moment. But you know, it wasn't anything that just, you know, captivated me the entire time. There were just those moments, you know, that would happen that I was like, aha, that's funny. I like what they did there. Other than that, I don't really have a ton of stuff to say. It's kind of unfair to mention my lack of complete appreciation for the first movie as a con for this one. So I'm not going to do that because I feel like that wouldn't count. But there was one thing that I thought would be a con, but it ended up not becoming a con. It dealt with a ghost, and there was something about this ghost that is mentioned, and I thought to myself, well, that doesn't make sense because that doesn't even fit in with the rules of the world as far as like the supernatural world, you know, the undead world. But then later something is revealed that's like, okay, that makes complete sense now. I get it. There's some other things that occurred to me, you know, feels like death in this world doesn't really mean much when people can still be brought to the living world from the dead and vice versa, and then come back again. So, you know, there's that whole thing. And then also, like I already mentioned, the underutilization of Monica Bellucci, I felt like that didn't really go where it seems like it should have gone, given the actor involved. I think that's really about all I have to say about Beetlejuice. I'm curious to see what other fans of the first film will think about this. I just don't have much more to add. So instead of continuing on, I'm just going to wrap this up now, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Later.